same division, the AFC South, we've got other depth chart news, this time with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where Travis Hunter listed as a wide receiver 1 and a cornerback 2 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. His head coach, Liam Cohen, talked about his rookie with the Rich Eisen show yesterday.
He has taken massive strides, specifically at the receiver position, of truly playing it, right? The how to run each route, how to attack leverage. His ball skills and body control are extremely natural, so you can't really coach that. What he's been able to learn in getting aligned, assignments, fundamentals, techniques, and then when you go into a scrimmage and he gets one-on-one on a choice route and he's got a linebacker on him and he can make you miss. Ultimately, for him, it's really going to come down to, like, offensively and defensively. We've done more offense because that was where more of the development was necessary, right? So much more naturally to just go walk out in the field and play corner. Like, that's what he's done. He can go do that. Very similarly, now there's a lot of checks, there's a lot of calls, there's a lot of different things that go to that. But offensively, we felt like there was a little bit more development that was necessary, and it's a lot more ball, right? Just a lot more scheme and words and calls.
So that was Liam Cohen talking about Travis Hunter's development. By the way, he also said that he believes that there's a chance that he could win Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but nonetheless, that's the opinion there with Travis Hunter.
Let me throw that back at you guys. Let me throw it back at you guys, because there was an argument to be made that his ability to play as many snaps as he did in college helped him get the Heisman. Now, I'm not saying that that's why he won it. I know there's some people who feel that way. I don't. But do you think that will play a factor, too, at the NFL level? Because it was so rare at the college level, people looked at that and said, no, this is significant. Now you're jumping up to the highest level. And if he's able to do it at that level, wouldn't you say he'd kind of get the benefit of the doubt, where if statistically he's not as close to some guys, there will be that conversation of, yeah, but he is playing both ways.
Yeah, I would say he's going to get the benefit of the doubt. And again, I think the one thing that people aren't paying attention to, that I'm paying attention to day one, like day one I'm paying attention to, is if he pulls this off and he is listed on the depth chart as a second or first string on offense, a second or first string on defense.
There you go.
When we get the contract time, what is that going to look like? I'm sorry. It's just got to be. It's got to be talked about. If he establishes that he is playing a roster position on offense and a roster position on defense, and let's just say he gets Rookie of the Year on both sides of the ball. Let's just say moving into the future, he's looked at as an all-pro offensive player and an all-pro defensive player. What do you think they're going to do?
So if the market at that point is $40 million for a wide receiver, $40 million for a cornerback, he should get $80 million.
I mean, I don't know that he gets, based upon how many plays he's playing, based upon the production, but let's just say, for the sake of saying, he's elite at both positions.
Talk about bang for your buck.
Talk about bang for, because I'm not. You got to do 2 contracts. I mean, how do you not? You got to do 2 contracts.
How's that work?
How does that work? That's what that's the most curiosity I have towards the Travis Hunter situation, outside of, can it work? Can he be a guy that's on the depth chart that is truly playing, not just spot duty? I'm saying truly is an option and truly is playing and could actually like be a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro on both sides of the ball. How do you handle that financially coming out of your rookie contract? Because he did, I mean, going into his rookie contract, he did the contract as a one-way player, but yet he's going to play 2 ways. So you're getting more bang for your buck already having him on your roster already. So how does that play out? Do you come back to the table and say, okay, I've established that I can be elite on both sides of the ball. You're going to pay me for being on both sides of the ball. What does that look like?
I mean, talk to the contract expert. Talk to the insider, Braden Quinn.
Well, I mean, look, he'll get a premium, but he's still got to do that first. Like, this is 3 years down the road conversation.
How many more in a game? What's the difference in the number of plays between college and the NFL, like on offense and defense?
You probably play on average in college a higher number. I'd say each side somewhere 70 plus, maybe 80, depending on the scheme and system. So you're probably playing about 30, 40 more snaps a game. NFL's a little less, somewhere in the 60s.
So
only just because of the running clock, which plays a bit more of a factor there.
So then if we're looking at, he did it both ways for 11 games. Now it's 17. But if you were to factor in less number of plays per game, yeah, maybe it is possible.
It's definitely possible, and he's going to try to do it. What never gets factored into this is the intensity of it.
There you go.
It's the highest level of football.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, you're playing... You're playing, not necessarily as many snaps, but the snaps you are playing are significantly a greater toll on your body. And he's going up against guys who, when you're playing in the Big 12, you're not playing every single play. And honestly, at that level, he probably wasn't being targeted quite as much. He probably wasn't seeing a whole lot of throws his way, with the exception of a few teams, few players who, they weren't scared of him, or they thought he could match up, or they wanted to test him. In the NFL, he will be tested right off the bat every single time he gets in there. And he's not going to have as easy releases. There'll be more guys who want to press and get up on him and get hands on him before he gets started running downfield. I mean, if you look at what makes him so special, he's incredibly elusive with his ability to get in and out of cuts and routes. And that's something that, again, will still be a work in progress, but every team's going to try to mess with a young guy and try to knock him off his start. It will mess up the timing, mess up his depth, mess up his steps. And that's the easiest way to get inside the head of a rookie wide receiver, is you try to get hands on him early and get physical with him. And now it becomes about a fight, and the emotions get involved in everything else. And you can throw technique and fundamentals out the window. So he's going to be challenged because, naturally he's that hyped up, and for good reason. But how he handles that over the course of this next season will give you a better indication of the hypothetical of, will he be paid as a guy who's a two-way player? And you also have to ask yourself, if you're the organization, you may say, yeah, he's going to take up 2 roster spots. So we love this. But then you also have to have the insurance policy of 2 guys who are waiting to come in if he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And the another thing you have to ask yourself is, does this take away from the longevity of his career? I mean, LeVar, you've played with some guys like E. Green, who played for a long time, and can play in the secondary. Yeah. And there's wide receivers who can play a long time. Now, when you're doing both, is this a deal where you watch him play for 8 years and then that's kind of it, because it took such a toll on his body in trying to play that many snaps both ways, the physicality to it, that he's not able to play as long as he'd like to play. So instead of being a guy at 30 who's trying to get to that, last big contract, it's more of a, I'm just trying to get whatever I can, or decide even if I want to play at this point.
Yeah.
Those are all things, again, conversations for down the road, but I'm rooting for him. I hope he can do it. I'd love to see him be able to. I think he's talented enough to do it.
If that dude got both rookies of the year for both sides of the ball, that would be some uncharted territory ever in the history of the game. And then how do you look at it? I'm just stuck on that. I'm just stuck. How do you view it? This kid is actually able to pull this off at the league level. How do you handle it? I'm going to be curious. It's going to be exciting to see if he pulls it off. But we were having a conversation on Saturday, and I was asking TJ and Plex, because they're receivers, how does that all play out? And TJ was like, well, they're only going to play zone. They'll probably play zone a lot more than they play man when he's on defense, and this and that. I was like, well, if I'm looking at it from a perspective of getting a competitive edge, if I see that they're playing Travis Hunter both ways on defense, if I'm calling plays on offense and he's on defense, if he's in a zone look, I'm running quicks right at him. If he's in a man look, I'm running him off. No matter what, no matter
gas him out.
No matter where the play is going, I'm going after him every single play to make him work. If he's going both ways, and that's going to give me a competitive edge. If you're going to leave him in there, you're either going to pull him out because we're going to run him, and you got to deal with him doing that on both sides of the ball, or you're going to leave him in there. And if you leave him in there, then at some point during the game, I believe we get a competitive advantage. So to me, I just feel like it sounds good. It makes sense that he's talented enough to do it. But in reality, these guys make so much money. They're such great, brilliant minds for whatever it's worth at the play calling positions. I just don't see how physically and mentally he would be able to stand up and be a two-way player, a full-time two-way player at the league level.
Now, I'll say this much. I don't think Jacksonville's doing themselves a disservice, though, if they're going to sacrifice their coverages or what they're doing just because he's in the game, right? Like, you can't do that. I mean, to me, what is most interesting is there's only one ball on offense and only one guy can get it. So even though he's, first string on the wide receiver depth chart, are you going to put him in there where he's not maybe always the first read? I mean, you do have Brian Thomas on there who is your number one wide receiver as of now. You took Travis Hunter because you need to be able to have two guys that your quarterback can rely on and throw to. Like, you play in the AFC. You've got to get through the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, like all these teams who have studs, can score, the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar and everything else they do. So you have to be able to get through all those teams that can score at a high rep, a high pace. So I think the toughest thing for Liam Cohen is how do they prioritize those reps and how they're using him? Like, on defense, you're on defense. You're playing whatever the scheme calls for kind of in that moment. If you get a DC who's saying, well, we can't play man because, Travis is in there, it's like, well, you probably shouldn't be in there then. Yeah. I mean, on offense, like, I'm just curious to see, like, are they going to use him as a decoy at times, or is a lot of the offense going to be built around when he's in there trying to get him the ball? Because if it is, then it's a sheer tell of what they're doing when he is in there. So, look, Liam Cohen's creative offensive mind. That's why he got the head coaching job in Jacksonville. So that's for him to figure out. But those are a lot of the things that, like, you look for when, you play in the NFL and you play against a roster that maybe has 6 wide receivers on the active roster. You pay attention to who's in the game. I mean, you look out there and go, all right, Trent Irwin's in. Maybe it's a run or maybe it's something, but they're probably not going to go downfield to a shot for him, right? Like, you look at the personnel as part of the clues and hints of how you're going to try to stop a team, defensively. And that would be one where I'm more curious what he is in offense, how he's utilized, and if he's going to be in there on a bunch of run plays, or, is this something where, like, he's going to be a number one wide receiver, and if there's an issue for depth somewhere, then they use him as that backup cornerback as well.
It's going to be really fun to watch, though, either way.